All right, thanks for loading up this video. This is going to be a quick, hopefully 10 to 15 minute walkthrough for you guys on the basics of PropStream. Just to give you a quick overview, PropStream is a tool that was created for real estate individuals to be able to go and research properties, create lists, comp out those properties to come up with values, and just have a deep dive of data and analytics that you can really read into to help you guys out with your real estate careers. And what I'm going to do now is just get logged in to our PropStream system. And again, I'm going to just show you guys the interface of PropStream so you guys can get a good feel of what PropStream will offer you and if it's a good tool for your business. I am the type of person who likes to dive into everything being offered out there, especially when there's a cost associated with it, and really see the true value that it's going to add to my business. And PropStream is one of the few systems that I have that I pay a monthly fee for that I would say is critical to my business. Meaning, when times are tough and you got to start eliminating expenses and you got to choose what's the most beneficial to the business and imperative that you have each month, I would put PropStream up there in my list of top 3, top 5 systems that I would want to keep in place. So to talk about that, just so you guys know right up front, PropStream is not free. Yes, they offer a free trial so you can just test it out and see if it's going to be good in your market. But it is a base of $97 a month, and that might sound steep to some people. But when you find out and see how this has MLS data for, I believe it's 98% coverage in the US, that'll blow your mind. So if you're not a real estate agent and you don't have access to the MLS yourself, or you have somebody just sending you properties straight from the MLS and you have to wait for those emails, I'll tell you what, this tool is amazing. I am a realtor myself, and I have access to the MLS, and I'm still using this. And the reason I'm still using this is because my MLS network is actually, it's drawn out really weird on the map. I can drive an hour inland from where I live on the coast of Florida, and my MLS will reach Orlando. Yet, if I drive an hour south of where I'm at, all of a sudden I'm in a completely different MLS system and I don't have access to all those records. So this is a tool that I can use to look at MLS listed properties across the nation, and I can give this to my virtual assistant or administrative assistant, somebody in my office. So if you need to get that kind of access to the MLS, or you want to be able to take somebody else that's on your team and give them access to all this real estate data, this is an amazing tool. Can you go use Zillow or systems like that? Yes, you can, but you are not going to get as detailed and you're not going to be able to scrub the data as well as a system like this. So let's just start out here. I know I've been rambling, but on the left-hand side, we have a flyout, and that is the current PropStream main interface for the most part. We have our search. This is just my own little profile picture. That's my Florida house buying logo actually right there. There's my name. We have search, which search will bring you to this screen right here, which has your search bar up top, along with filters, clear all, search, and different types of specific lists and results. Let's go back out to the flyout. We have the My Properties, and My Properties will actually be where you take any properties you save to create lists, and they're going to go right into this system here with a lot of data. We also have contacts, which you can import your own contacts or pull those contacts straight from properties that get skip traced. And skip tracing can happen right within PropStream. You can see they're very open about what their pricing is. The more that you have to skip trace, the better the pricing. So if skip tracing is something you're looking to do, that can also be done from within the PropStream system. It is very quick with how quickly you can go create a list, skip trace it, and then you'll get the results back within usually a couple minutes, maybe 15 minutes max. And all of a sudden, as soon as you skip trace, you're going to start getting some extra columns here where you have, like you can see here, the phone numbers and the email, so you might end up with multiple of those. So that's under the contact, sorry. There's skip tracing, as we just mentioned. Campaigns is really neat because with campaigns, you can create email and postcard campaigns right from this system here. Obviously, you're going to pay for the postcards, but the emails are really neat. So check this out. So this is a new email campaign. It lets you pick your logos, top logo, bottom logo, bottom. You can actually adjust the size. You can see how that's changing there. A couple different layouts to give you a different look. And these are for emails. So this is how that looks. It lets you edit all the subject content and everything. You can highlight things. You can bold them. You can change the text. Just make it yours. And you can see you can do that for the header. You can do it for the body. And then what I'll do here is you got the publish. You can edit recipients, so you can add in everybody that you're going to be sending this to. You could bring them in right through from another group of yours. So if I click on preview here, email a campaign preview, I just want to show you guys quickly what this looks like. So I'm going to give that a second, and then I'll go over and I'll check my email and load that up for you guys to look at. But you can also do postcard campaigns from in here. You don't have to just do email. You can do postcard campaigns as well. And this edit website right here is a landing page that they also let you create. So I'm going to show you, if you go into edit website, you have a very similar look to that campaign. I'm going to go into preview here, and this is going to load up a website. So if you were sending out any kind of those email blasts, you can put this email link on there, and when they click it, it brings them to your own landing page in which you've customized this. You fill in the contact information. So you got Dane. Here we go. I'm interested in selling. Send. Oh, sorry, we can't send that right now. I was going to show you guys how that looks as well when that comes through. But let's come over here. I'm going to go into my email real quick and see if we haven't received that. Okay, so it looks like it did come over. I will drag this over so you guys can see it. So right here, here's the email. Giving cash offers on homes like yours. Here's the email. Here's that website I mentioned that it would let you pull right up. Right here, we have the contact us. Brings you right to the form fill. So that's the actual main landing page. And here's that email again. So here's the information we had typed in. You can click Learn More to take you to that website. And other areas on here, like clicking the logo, will bring you over there. But the Learn More brings you right back to the website. But that's it. I mean, that is how simple and quick it is to do some of those campaigns with this system. So let's move on. So we have our help. This loads up a whole new window, and you can see that they actually have a lot of video libraries with tutorials. But you guys got my tutorials, so you don't need those tutorials. You got email, live chat, webinar, support, and PropStream is based out of the other coast. So they're out in California, so you do have to deal with them on Pacific time. That is my only gripe when you have to deal with customer service, is having those Pacific time frames being over here on the eastern side. But let's go back in here, and then we have our settings. I'm not going to go into settings just because I don't feel like blacking out all my contact information. But basically in settings, you have your account details, you have your payment information. You can log different payment information for your monthly payments for PropStream versus the information that the payment information that you're providing to skip trace lists and send postcards, that sort of thing. You can actually have two different payment methods set up, and you can create additional logins for team members. And that's not all free. I'm an open book, and I'm going to tell you guys everything. Right now, it's $20 per user that you want to create. So if you don't want to give out your main login info to an office assistant or somebody, you can go and create a user ID and password, $20, and they have access that you give them. And you can actually limit the type of access that they're getting based on whatever criteria you want, primarily how many records they can go pull and add to your system. And when I mention pulling contacts. I say that because at $97 a month, you're actually given 10,000 records that you can import or export. So basically that means every time you go and you save or create a list, so when I go into my properties right here and you guys see this 84, you're always going to have a running total of lists, and all these lists are showing up right in this section here. These always go towards your monthly count. So if my saved properties had a total of 2,000 right now, every month when my account resets, that 2,000 is coming off of my 10,000 records that I'm allowed. And you'll understand that, when you go into your trial period, or you just start messing around, or you read into this a little bit more, you'll see what I'm talking about. But 10,000 records is a lot, and it really just depends on how much mail you're doing. So let's dive into the actual searching and some of the real content that you guys are going to want. So here is our main screen. This is where you're going to spend most of your time. And up here, we have different ways that we can search depending on the type of list or the type of property we're looking for. We have filters, so we can really drill into this. But to start, I want to show you just some of the filters and how we search. So if we want to search a specific area, let's just go big. We can go, Atlanta. Of course, that's the first one that pops up. If we click on that, all of a sudden it's going to bring us right to Atlanta. You're going to see it's got 312,000 properties that are showing up right here. And 6,600 of those MLS. We have 486 pre-foreclosures, auctions, foreclosures, cash buyers, liens, vacant, high equity. Then you have all searches. So all searches is going to have these all listed out, and when you go and create your own filtered search, for instance, and you want to save it, it will allow you to save that search, and you could actually replace one of these. So if you don't want these to be we'll call them your hot keys or your hot buttons, you can change that. So I'll show you what I mean. I created one yesterday just for this video, and I called it the Tennessee MLS. And what this list was, this was specifically all MLS listed properties. So if we did that in Georgia, so we have Atlanta, Georgia right here, and it's showing us that we have all these 312,000 properties, and we're like, well, that's just way too many. I only wanted to mail to about 1,000 today. What you could do is you can drop your filter down, and you can just start making choices. There's some quick lists already made, so you can see, divorce records, tax delinquencies. Or you could say, maybe I just want to see everything that's on market on the MLS right now. I'm going to hit yes to that. And I only want to look at ones that were listed this month. So I'm going to click on March 1st. Usually your ending dates are always set to the current day. We can do listing amount, so we only want to look at properties that are priced up to $100,000. And you can see as I add these filters, it's updating it under the My Search. So if we just hit close right now, you can see for looking at active MLS properties, and I shouldn't even say active. I'm going to go right back in here real quick to show you something. MLS status is set to all. If I click on active, we should see our unique properties number drop down a little bit. Yeah, it went down to 213. So right now we have active MLS properties priced under 100,000 that have been active for the month of March. And that gives us 213 results in this specific area. And you can scroll through those. Right now it's set to pick view. You can also go to list view. And then you also have a flyout here that gives you a lot of information on these properties. And when I say a lot of information, I'm talking you get the APN, which would be your property identification number, the type of property, estimated value, when it got listed, the list price. So you can see like these list prices here, this $3,400, most likely this is going to be a rental, especially when you see it's a $570,000 property. So that might be something else where you want to go create that filter now so that it's only showing you single family homes. Maybe it's not showing you apartments or whatever it is. There's a lot of filters. And again, you can go in and you can save this search. You can create a name for that. You can add some details, And then look at this, include on home screen and replace. So if you wanted to go and replace one of these hotkey buttons we talked about, you can do that. If you know you're not ever using this liens or this cash buyers, you can create your own quick one. And then you can get email alerts when changes happen to that exact list. So if you want to start knowing every day one of these properties hits the MLS, you could actually select immediately. And the only thing is you're going to have to just wait, and that data is only going to update as quick as their MLS records update, which I personally know is usually within 3 to 4 days. Like, I've come to my own market and looked, and usually it's about 4 days back on the properties that are showing active, which is not a huge deal because I'm using this a lot more for looking at sold properties, whereas the sold properties do update a little bit quicker. So it's interesting to see how much data that PropStream has access to, but it's unbelievable. It's awesome. So under all searches, I created one of these saved lists already, and you can see. So I created this list yesterday, and it had 33 total as of today, and it's showing me that 2 are new from the list I created yesterday. But if I click on this, it's going to bring us right to Jackson, Tennessee. Even though it says Georgia up there, it is on my Jackson, Tennessee list. But you can see, this is all for Jackson, Tennessee, 33 properties with the criteria I had selected under my Tennessee. And you can always go in, you can delete these, you don't have to keep those, they're not permanent by any means. And you can see right here under Jackson, Tennessee, when I drop the filter down, it does have the filters pre-filled in for what I had already selected on my search, which is equity, 50% to 100% equity. Last sales price under 200,000, years of ownership 6 or more, and it's on the market. So this MLS list right now are for properties that have had people that have lived in the houses for at least 6 years. When they purchased the house, they paid less than 200,000 6 years ago, and there's an estimated 50 to 100% equity in these homes. To me, that would scream there's some motivation and equity there in those properties. So let's go a little bit further now. So let's show you guys under this unique properties. Let's say this 71 Highland Hills is a property that I wanted to get some information on. Well, you can see one nice thing that I like is it puts a number next to these records, and it matches up with that number right here on the map. And talking about the map, you can have the road view, you can have aerial. Only reason I'm not a fan of aerial is it does make some of these pins somewhat harder to see, so I'm usually in that road map view. But you have this view here. We're going to zoom into the number 1 here, the Highland Hills. So let's see, we got our property here. I've clicked on it. You can actually click on the property there. You could also click on the property up here, and it's going to bring the pop-up of all the details. But if you click on this property here, you would just click on details to get into all that data. But just right away, it's showing you the estimated value of the property, the last sale date. It's giving you a little trend of the value over the past couple of years. This one's showing that it trended down, which is, it's just kind of weird. This could just be tracking some wrong data. But I could save this property immediately to some of my lists. I can do some further analysis on it, and then we have details. So if I click on details, you see the same page that I had prior, and we just get more and more information. So what we're looking at here is we have the type. This is a piece of vacant land. It is on market. It's an individual owner. It's not a business. It's showing us the time they've owned it. We have the size, the county. I mean, I could just keep reading all these. Obviously, you can come in and drill into this. But what I wanted to focus on was all these little tab sections right here. But we can click on cash sale. It'll give us more details on that, you know, who the buyer was. MLS details. This is giving us the details of the actual MLS listing, such as agent information. So if you need to reach out to this agent, you want to talk to them, you can come down here, you have all their contact information, including their email address. This is only going to show you one listing agent's info, so if you have multiple agents on a listing, you're not going to see that, along with the listing history. So this one showed that it got put up on the 17th at this price with brokerage and the actual listing ID. All right, and before I go into comparables and nearby listings, I want to use a different record. So I'm going to close this record out, and we'll go into this Quail Ridge property as our example for comparables and nearby listings. And the main reason being I just didn't want to use a piece of vacant land to show you some of these results. So when I click on comparables and nearby listings, you're going to notice we get a lot of these hot buttons similar to the search page that you saw up here. So what's nice about this is these are all records that are specific to our subject property that's clicked on. So they're all referencing this Quail Ridge property. And everything that's going to show up in this section here is based on the data or the filters that you have put in on this section here. So you can see this distance, which distance is always the baseline for a lot of these. So right now we're looking at public record comps. So these are all properties that are showing up as sold transactions on or off the MLS. MLS is specific to the MLS. These are going to be all our close by neighbors. We have cash buyers, pre-foreclosures, foreclosures, and again, this is all relating to distance. So if I change this, our numbers are going to change, but that's always specific to whatever we're clicked on. So if I'm clicked on MLS, my distance is set to this 1. You can see on foreclosures, it's still set to the 2. So they're all independent of each other, and that's just something I want to point out. Another thing is if you notice these different colored numbers, on some of these like public record comps, you can see that they were, there's not as many. You scroll down, you're like, okay, well, what's this green one? Come right over here, you have a key, so cash. So that's really nice. So obviously when we're under foreclosures, you're going to see a couple different colors here. We have the foreclosure color, we have cash. So there's a little bit of a mixture there. And then you can just see the rest of these, the high equity, vacant, free and clear, bankruptcy, and you can just continue to filter these down as you see fit. The next tab is tax information. So this is keeping your property information there and then just providing you all the actual tax details. So the prior year tax amount, you can see some nice percentages, whether it went up or down, so that's very nice. Then we have our mortgage and transaction history tab, and this is going to show prior loans that were put on it, and there you can drop these down to get even more details. So you can see on this one right here, in 2011, there was a commercial loan put on this through Regions Bank at this loan amount. So a lot of detailed information. And then the last one, documents and reports. So had we clicked on this analysis button up here, it would be very similar to if we click on documents and reports. But let me just show you something real quick. So if I'm backed out here and I click analysis, it brings up this analysis tab. This analysis tab would be if we're going to go and we want to analyze the property as if it were going to be a purchase or a sale, and you can fill in this information. You can save the report, and then you can go and print different types of reports. So this is really neat. So you have all these different reports and analyses. If I close this out and I come back over to the Documents and Reports tab, and I were to click on View one of these reports, well, it's not going to show me the report because I haven't actually gone in and analyzed. So if you go through that analyzation report, analyzation, is that a word? I don't know. If you go through that report, fill in the data, then you can actually run some of these more detailed reports. So let's just quickly do one and show you how that would look. So if I close this out and I click on analysis, we're going to have this set to new analysis. This is going to be a personal property with a purchase price of $150,000. And as you change these numbers, it's going to change over here. We've got our estimated market value of 166. Let's say we need 10,000 in improvements. You can break that down, which is really neat if you want. It's putting everything under other. If we actually change this, you'll see it will change up here. So if you wanted to get specific and say, okay, it's going to be 1,000 in windows, and then my roof's going to be 9,000, there's your 10,000 in improvements. So you can leave it that way. Come over to mortgage. We could say that this is just a fix. The mortgage amount's I'm gonna put 20,000 down, so it'll end up being 130, and it's gonna be a 30-year at 5%. First mortgage payment, and you have all this information. This is under mortgage. Then we hit next. It will take us over to our income. I'm sorry, it's still on mortgage, and it's asking about closing costs, so you can add that. Then we come over to our expenses. Income's grayed out because of the type of purchase this is. Had we clicked investment, then we could go into income. Expenses, you can break this down further, and then you can go into the actual sale. Since we're doing a purchase, we're not actually going to be selling this. We're doing the buy side. And then you got finish, and here's a whole bunch of these same reports that we had already shown. So you could actually save this, and it's telling me I can only do it on saved properties. So it's saving this property right now. Analysis name, tester 1. And now we're going to save this. So we can click on these reports, but what I wanted to show you, if we close this out, close this, go into documents and reports. Now when I go to click on one of these, I'm going to be able to get a report. So if I click on mortgage analysis, there is this file that was created from mine. You can add your own documents in here, but there it is, and you can see it downloaded it. So if I open that, here's my purchase analysis, 116 Quail Road with a purchase price, and it's just showing me all the details that I filled in, and it's running its own calculations. There's my total closing costs, along with upfront expenses. And this is obviously factoring in the windows, the roof we talked about, and closing costs, mortgage costs, and all that fun information. So that's really neat how you get access to this. You can also buy some actual county records here. You can do comparables report, just really detailed reports that can help you in a couple different ways. And then the last thing I'm going to show you on this property record is going to be the Rehab Calculator. This is a neat tool. Rehab Calculator brings you to the Blue Book website where you can actually estimate project costs. And the neat thing about this website is this is actually used by some larger companies out there, a lot of the lenders, FHA. I know different people are using this. So it's a pretty standard system to analyze costs. If you've been in the business a while, you can analyze your own rehab costs, but if not, you can actually just come in here. You could say, I'm doing a kitchen renovation. It's going to be counters and cabinets. It's a small kitchen. They're going to be economy. And this is the kitchen. Let's add it to the estimate. Now check this out. It's telling me the estimated cost for this. These economy cabinets and counters is going to run me $7,200. And then you can break it down and see all the different details that go into this. Edit these yourself. And this is where it's coming up with these numbers. And then you can end up getting a project report. So that's a really neat tool that we have access to. I'm going to close that out, but that's all right under the Rehab Calculator. So a lot of tools here. It's really going to come down to everything that you need, but as you can see, there's a lot of different options within here. And then the last thing I'm going to show you is, and I should have showed this to you already, but there is a dragging bar here where you can actually slide over and get a lot of information on these properties. You're not limited to what you guys just saw here when I went through it. There is a lot more sale information. All right, so we're going to get out of this record. If we were just wanting to look at Jackson, Tennessee as a whole, So we have Jackson, Tennessee. You can see none of those filters are applied from that all searches I had before. This is just all of Jackson, Tennessee. Let's go up here now. So we have 368 MLS records. We have 8,700 cash buyers. We have foreclosures. We have 1,800 vacant properties. So when I click on that, your unique properties number is always going to reference that same number until you start to filter this data down. The second you add some filters, so we know we're clicked on vacant properties, well, maybe I'm only interested in vacant single family homes that are 2-bedroom. That's it. That's all I care about. There's 50 of those. You can see up here what I was talking about. It still has that large total vacant number, but as I applied filters, my unique properties dropped. So now I have 50 unique properties in Jackson, Tennessee that meet that vacant criteria of being 2-bedroom properties. Then you could highlight all of those. Maybe you don't want a couple of these for whatever the reason being. Now you go and you add to your list. So you could either just add to a new marketing list, meaning right here where you create it and you just type it out, or you could add it to an existing list of yours. And once you do that, then it's going to show up under My Properties and you have your lists right here. I like to have mine in the date created view so I can see like what my most current lists are. So this list, for instance, Central Ave cash buyers pulled on 3/19. These are all specific properties that I had filtered, selected, and saved to that one list. So this is what I love about PropStream. A lot of information, a lot of access to information here. Let's go back over to Jackson, Tennessee. So again, then we have high equity. So you can create these lists however you like. You can create yourself distressed property lists. You can create lists based on properties that are for sale. You can create lists for cash buyers. Just so many different options. So again, if you wanted to do something like a distressed Jackson, Tennessee list, it's all in the filters. Just add filters. Lien, bankruptcy, divorce status, ownership info. So let's just say again, years of ownership. Minimum 6 years of ownership. And we want to look at bank-owned properties. So these are properties owned by the bank for at least 6 years. I didn't expect this to be a big list. You can see there's there's a property here that a bank has owned for at least 6 years. I'm not sure why, but let's change this. Let's go to notice a default in Liz Pendens. All right, nothing showed up. Let's go back to bank owned and let's remove the 6, and this should definitely grow that list. So here we go. We have 83 bank-owned properties in Jackson, Tennessee showing up. So PropStream, it's very powerful. I love it. I love the fact that I can give access to other team members. And there's a couple other features I just want to quickly show. So I want to clear my filters. I want to go into Jackson, Tennessee again. Actually, let's just go to Jackson, Mississippi. So we are in Jackson, Mississippi. See this statistics for Jackson, Mississippi down here? If we throw this up, we are getting statistics for all of Jackson, Mississippi right now. I mean, basically you have access to MLS type info at your fingertips, and I love it. Average days on market, you can see average monthly rent, last 30 days, listing trends, sales trends for the last 30 days. So what better way to figure out if this is a market you want to be in to be able to look at statistics. So that's really neat. And then we have this one other feature up here of analytics. And this, to me, is pretty awesome. Depending on how you want to use this tool, let's just say you're a wholesaler and you want to know hot areas in a town. We have this analytics drop down here where it shows estimated value, MLS stats, price growth, rental values. So let's click on price growth. Let's drop this down and let's look at 1 year growth. We've clicked on 1 year price growth in Jackson, Mississippi. And I'm just sitting here waiting because I know that there's a lot of data that this is pulling up. So all of a sudden we've got this heat map. And you can see here what it's showing is light blue means there was a loss. There was a big loss in growth. Basically what we want is anything yellow to red. Yellow to red means there's actual positive growth happening. Red being there is a lot of growth happening. So check this out. We can zoom in, and as we zoom in, we are looking at individual properties, people. So this data, you can see how it's taken a second to load. I don't mind because of how awesome this tool is, but it's loading a heat map for our specific area. And obviously, sometimes if you zoom in, it's not as good, but on a larger scale, we can see that as somebody that wants to wholesale in this town of Jackson, Mississippi, what some of our hot areas are. So this means like right here, this Skyline Drive area has experienced almost 100% growth over the past year. So maybe as a wholesaler, I'm thinking, well, heck, I know I'm going to be able to go sell a property pretty quick in this neighborhood because there's just all this growth happening. It's a very hot area. Let's show you one other tool on the map here. It's this little pencil or pen. Click on that, and now we can draw shapes. So I'm going to left click here, left click here, left click down here, and I can either just come up and hit the search button, or you can just right click. Now we've highlighted a very specific area because of the heat map. We know this is an area we want to focus on. When we just highlight it and we don't have any filters applied, it has 923 properties here. Again, you can come back up to your filter. You can change your characteristics. You could say, all I want are single family homes. Dropped it to 817. Maybe you want some multifamily too. But maybe you only want properties that are 2 to 3 bedroom, that have 1 to 2 bathrooms. So 564 properties are showing up that are 2 to 3 bedroom, 1 to 2 bathroom, and they're single family, and they're in this specific area. How awesome is that? How awesome is that? Again, as a wholesaler, I'm not sure you can really ask for a better search tool. Those heat maps are crazy. I'm going to go here and just clear all of that. But let's just show you guys. So that analytics, that was on price growth. You got MLS info, so you can do square footage, lot size, bedrooms, listing price, estimated values. And when you click on those, you can see your estimated value is actually same thing. It's colored. You got the light blue to red. So properties that are in the light blue to dark blue, you know, you're looking at homes that are probably up to like 200,000. You kind of have to gauge this yourself. You've got more than 10 blocks there, so you know each of these is a little bit less than 100,000 in value. But if you know you're not trying to get into really pricey neighborhoods, or you don't know an area or a town that well, how awesome is it that you can load a tool like this up and say, okay, if I'm going to be wholesaling and I don't want to focus on pricey properties, but I want to be in a hot neighborhood, like this Skyline Drive area that we just showed you was perfect. It's all lower price homes, and it's in a hot market or a hot area that's doubled in growth in the past year. So to me, this is a big focus area. These are just some of the ways that I'm using PropStream. I think it's an awesome tool. At the very least, if you haven't been using this and you use something else, I would compare it. Again, you can do a trial. It's 7 days. Only thing I'm getting out of this is if you guys actually use my affiliate link to sign up and then you continue on, I'll make a little bit of money, but I'm not making these videos with anything besides the expectation to provide one piece of helpful information to people that are watching this. I hope you guys got at least one gem out of this, and I will continue to be making PropStream videos for specific features within this tool, because I've created one already for how to just find cash buyers, for instance, because I think that's huge. I think that's another really, really nice feature of PropStream is identifying cash buyers around a specific property. So I do have videos on that, videos on how to comp properties with PropStream, creating lists, so other things like that. And I hope you get some good, valuable information out of this. Feel free to always send me an email to greatdaneproperties@gmail.com if you got a very specific question. Or you're just looking to partner up or do something together. Other than that, leave some comments at the bottom of this video, and I hope you guys got something out of this. Thank you.